Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the United Stage. I'm Bob Moyer. I'm the director and founder of the original United Stage, which was many, many years ago. And the company was founded based on the principles of none other than Viola Spolin and Paul Sills. That company, the United Stage, performed over the United States for over 1 million people in the audience. And that work was created from folk tales and folk material and improvisational material applied to those stories. Those stories became and came out of the nonverbal, non-psychological games that Viola Spolin offered to the world and her son Paul manufactured into Second City, and thus story theater following that. So tonight, what you're seeing is members of the United Stage from across the years, and I mean many years because the original United Stage started in 1972, are here because of the pandemic, basically. We could no longer play together, so many of us couldn't, so we got together on Zoom, and in the work that we have done, we have tried to find ways to make Zoom work. And that has enabled us to come to you tonight with, we think, unique games that we have restructured so that we can take advantage of Zoom, not be limited by it. So our first exercise is called head body dubbing. Ray, you want to talk about this exercise? Are you going to introduce this?
Sure. This is based on the dubbing game, the Spolin game called Dubbing, where an actor is on stage and there is a voice off stage and there is a follow the follower focus happening between them. But we have gone a little further than that by breaking that actor up into two actors in the scene, and each actor has a head and a body, and they each have a voice. So there are 3 actors performing one character, and the other 3 actors are performing the other character. And in this scene, between these 2 characters is a mother and a son. And the mother is cooking at the stove, and the son is chopping vegetables at the counter. And as you can see, we have head, hands, and an offstage voice. And I guess that's the setup. So here we go. Curtain.
Sweetie, be careful with that knife.
Oh, okay. Is this the knife you're talking about?
Well, I can't see. Could you hold it up a little bit?
Would you hold that? Is this the knife? This is the knife. This is
Sweetheart, be careful. Don't use the sharp one. Use the middle.
Richard, pick up the knife.
Yes, just like that.
Okay, all right. Now, do you want me to cut straight across my, where do I cut, Mom?
You cut it the way I showed you. Take the carrot in one hand. Take the carrot.
Okay, I got the carrot.
Okay.
I got the carrot in my hand.
Put it on the cutting board. Put the carrot on the cutting board, and then very, very carefully.
Okay, I got it. I got it right here on the cutting board.
Well, show me, hon. Show me, sweetie. Show me.
Do I raise the knife real high like this?
Well, first put the carrot on the cutting board, hon.
Okay, I'm trying, Mom, but you know.
Oh, I know your arm hurts. I know it hurts.
Yes, it does.
But lift it anyway.
Okay, I'm trying to lift my arm. I'm trying to
Richard, respond.
Arm. Oh, I'm getting it. Look how high I've got my arm.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I got it. Oh, now I'm going to bring my arm down as fast as I can. I've got my arm really high.
I'm so proud of you, honey. I am so proud of you.
Oh, wonderful. Can I raise the knife up towards my throat like this? Can I
No,
raise
Pick up,
the knife?
pick up the knife, Richard. Richard, pick up the knife.
And up to my
Follow the
throat,
follower.
just like this.
Okay, no. Okay, I have an idea. Let's leave the vegetables till later and remember the onions that we cut before? Can you
Oh,
pass me
okay.
the onions?
Okay, all right, here, Mom, here's the onion. Take this onion, Mom.
Give her the onion, Richard.
All right. Okay, there you go. There you go. We are going to have the best soup. You were going to.
Oh, but Mom, you know onions. You know how onions always make me
No, I
cry.
know.
You know,
Just
the onions, it's incredible. And I know when I cry, that makes you cry too. And here's another onion, Mom. I gotta get rid of the onions.
oh, this is going to be so much fun. We are going to have the best party for your 6th birthday.
Oh, Mom, I love you. Here, let me give you a big hug.
Oh, oh,
Go.
ah,
And curtain.
snuggles.
Oh, God.
All right. That was a wild game.
Oh, my God.
Hi, I'm everybody. I'm Max Schaefer. I'm going to introduce the next game. We're throwing out games that we've been playing with, and I know a lot of you haven't never seen these games before because you're just playing around and adapting some of the Spoon stuff and trying some new things. Like this, a game specifically designed for Zoom. Now, what could that be? Well, Spolen has a game called What's Beyond. What's Beyond is where there's something happening, maybe off stage, in the next room or outside the building, and you're all affected by it. You can't see it on stage. It's beyond. And that's what happens with Zoom. A lot of times when we're on Zoom, we're doing different activities and we don't want the teacher to know what we're doing. So that's what we're going to do here. And we're going to ask you to help us out here. I want you to watch carefully because we're going to have 4 students who are going to be just watching the teacher. And we're going to enlist Carrie here. If Carrie, you don't mind being the instructor, would that be okay? And Carrie's going to go off screen. We're just going to hear his voice. And we're just going to be watching him for about 2 minutes. And while they're doing that, each of them are going to have their own secret activity. And it could be something crazy or it could be something mundane. We'll never know, but we all in the audience want to be watching because afterwards we're going to ask you, what secret activity are they doing? Can you tell what they're doing even though they're not supposed to be doing that? And then we'll reveal. So can we have I am going to be off screen and we are going to begin the game. Does everyone have an activity? Raise your hand if you have an activity or nod your head. That's fine. How about you, Richard? You ready going to play with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't be lifting knives. All right, here we go. Okay, everybody off screen and everybody listen to the teacher, but begin your activity off. Don't let us know what you're doing. And Carrie, you can start lecturing whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. Let's get started. Now, there's going to be a short quiz at the end of the class, and the slideshow will be downloaded up to Dropbox or uploaded. Heidi, a little less scramble today, and Bob, no haiku. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Last week we were discussing home remedies, and we were discussing how to remove lice. We talked about the 3 major ways. Vacuuming, that's not a good choice. Gasoline, Ray, definitely not a good choice. You're taking notes, that's good. And mayonnaise or insecticide. Now, these don't work, okay? So don't do that. That's right. That's right. Don't do that. Carly, focus here. So we're going to deal with, today, we're going to deal with open wounds. You know, licking an open wound is frowned upon. So is blowing on it because of the germs that might get into the wound, okay?
10 times bigger. Heighten what you're doing 10 times bigger, but don't let the teacher see what you're doing.
Rick, no vertical napping here. Come on, stay on focus, Rick. Okay. Now, once you get an open wound, leave it alone. Don't put your don't put your saliva on top of it. Okay, that was what we covered last week. This week, we're going to cover foot odor, okay? Foot odor, pizza burns, and warts. So those are the things we're going to focus on today. Now, anybody have an idea how to reduce foot odor? Foot odor?
Okay, curtain. All right. Now, people in the audience, we're going to be asking you to help us out here. If anyone has what Heidi was doing, go type that in the chat right now. What do you think Heidi was doing secretly? Anyone have a clue? Type it in. Okay, we got one there. Somebody thinks you're eating, licking a wound. All right. Tell us, Heidi.
I was eating. Does anybody know what I was eating?
Chewing tobacco.
A cat was licking my wound under the table.
Tell us.
So in this case, I was eating pizza.
Oh, somebody
Good
had
job,
that.
Terry.
Okay, Richard was a bit of a statue there. Boy, he must have had something going. Anyone see what Richard had?
Meditation.
I think you stumped us, Richard. What did you have? Oh, what did you got, Richard? What were you doing?
Morning meditation.
That was a really tricky one, right? Very subtle. Okay, excellent. Carly, what was Carly doing? Anybody have a clue? I think Carly, you stumped them too. Tell us, Carly.
I was playing with my pet mouse.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's a good one to be playing during a Zoom class. And Bob, anyone see what Bob was doing? He was a little more animated. No,
Bubbles?
No. Okay.
Great activity for the future, though, isn't it?
Okay, I think we stumped the audience pretty well. What'd you had, Bob?
I was using my incredible skills of touch typing to flirt on chat with Carly.
I was
And
playing.
I know a lot of you in the audience have done that before. All right. Well, anyways, that's Zoom What's Beyond. And thank you. That's the first time we got to.
Wait, what about Ray? What was Ray doing?
Whoa, Ray. Let's just ignore Ray.
Oh,
Did anybody
okay.
see something? What did you
How
see?
about Ray? Writing. Okay. Hey, we're having some suggestions. Drawing, writing. Anybody else? Okay. Either one of those, Ray?
No, counting money.
Oh, playing games. Oh, counting money.
Counting money. Okay. Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. And let's go
That's
to
it
our
for that one. Okay, well, speaking of Ray, we are going to do another game where Ray is the focus. And this past game, we had, the lecturer off screen and all of the other people on screen. And for this one, we're going to have the lecturer on screen, and the rest
Rick.
of us will be off screen. This
Rick,
game.
goodbye.
Thank you. All right, so this game is, we have dubbed it the Nutty Professor, and we are dedicating it to John Malkovich. So this professor, Professor Verzel, can channel multiple experts to expound on any subject, and he will have many voices who will help him to do that. So what subject do you want to hear about tonight from him and the experts that he channels? Proctology. Oh my. Who knows where that's going to go? All right, so you are an expert on proctology today, and we intend to give and take.
And we're going to ask you to back up a little bit so we can see your hands.
Well, welcome, everyone. This is a
Wonderful opportunity to talk about the lower extremities of the body. Now, the first thing you need to know is
how long it takes to go to college to become a proctologist.
It may surprise you to know
you will have a hard time getting a job. Actually, I went for about 7.5 years. And then I
came out of school and nobody wanted to hire me. But guess what
I started washing my hands every day, and I had really nice cleanliness and was able to convince people
to hire me to use my clean hands for exams. So what I did next
was apply for many, many, many jobs. And I got hired by a hospital in Wyoming.
And then I learned how to ride a horse, which is really not good for a
proctologist. I have to tell you that. But let me tell you, they called me the traveling cowboy of booty. And I went from the north of Wyoming
to the very lower extremities of Wyoming. That's a little proctologist joke there.
1 minute.
Then I was transferred to Butte, Montana. That was a real
Butte, if you ask me. I set up shop and I've made a fortune because I'm the only
proctologist within 50 miles. I called my practice Butte's Butts.
Garden. Okay.
So we've had a mention in the chat, and I just want to bring up that one of the things that you'll notice is that we have a side coach for each game, and that is the person that you hear talking and giving us advice along the way, and that is one of the features of Spolin games. Bob, do you want to turn your camera back on and tell us the difference between a side coach and a director?
Yeah, of the many aspects of Spolin's work, there are three that we're playing with, especially when we're working on the Zoom games. The first, of course, is focus, and our focus there was dubbing with a side focus. Earlier, our focus was dubbing. In this one, it was being one voice coming out of the head of one person, many voices joining as one. And the side coach in this case is a fellow player, somebody who's playing along. Viola once demonstrated to me the difference between side coaching and directing. We were in a conference in San Francisco. She sent me, somehow we got to the point of what's the difference. And she made me go all the way to the end of this ballroom, and me at the other, she at the other end. And she says, calling the distance, "This is directing." You know, and then she called me to come towards her, and of course we met in the middle of the room. She wraps her arms around me and says, "This is a side coach. This is the side coach. This is side coaching, where you join with the actor on the stage of play or on the stage, whichever it may be." And that's the difference between side coaching and directing. So we have another game, do we not?
Yes, we do. And for this, it would be best if you folks can get out a pencil and paper or something to write on. And Bob is going to lead us through haiku.
That's exactly right. Everybody in the audience, has the opportunity to write a haiku. Now, we're not talking about the kind of haiku crap that we see online, funny jokes, all of that. No, no, this is real haiku. Now, haiku is thought of as 3 lines. It's not really 3 lines. It can be 2 lines or 1 line, but what it is 2 parts, a short line followed by a long phrase. Now that long phrase is broken up into 2 parts. That's where the 3 lines come from. So when you look at a haiku, you'll see a short line, a long line, and a short line. The way we're going to accomplish our haiku is while you are watching the scene that we are about to activate, you are going to watch something that you see or hear, think about, it occurs to you, you refer to it, whatever. It's a sentence. Because I'm going to give you the first line to this haiku based on suggestions of what the 2 people in this scene are going to be doing. Now, when we take a suggestion here for who, where, and what, the classic improvisational circumstances, we're going to ask you to come up with, we call this a lived-in relationship, not some quick, just happened relationship, but something in which the people have been connected over the period of time that makes sure it's like, for instance, a family. So that the people that you're going to say, who are these people, you're going to give them that kind of relationship that's been going on for some time. And the phrase we're playing with these days, we're not sure if it's the best one, is lived in relationship. So first of all, we need to know who are the 2 people and who are our 2 players, ladies and gentlemen. Max and Carly are our 2 players. So who do you want these 2 people to be? Please type it into the chat so we can decide who they are. Okay, a parent, we'll take this one, first one I see here. Parent with a teen adopted child who is from another culture. All right. Got that too, you two? Okay. One of you is the parent and the other one is a child from another culture. All right, however you want to interpret that. We'll let that emerge. Now, where are these people? Where are these 2 people? Give us that suggestion, please. Where are they? Where are these 2 people?
Iowa on a kayak.
Let's do this one. Let's do a tea room. Okay, we're in a tea room. And what is their activity? That's a physical activity that they are doing in the tea room. Okay, who's got a suggestion? Oh, they're servers. All right. So if you 2 would back into the space, please. So you see that that's your activity in the same space. Now, you will notice immediately we sent them away from the camera. What we've been playing with all of this time is using the activity and the space to connect to each other. So that's what's happening. Now, I'm going to give you the first line for the haiku. All right, and the haiku is afternoon tea. Okay, that's the first line. And the second line is something that occurs in afternoon tea because of what these 2 people do. All right, so write that sentence down when we finish. Don't worry about the sentence because we're going to break that sentence up so we have a short line, a long line, and a short line. All right, afternoon tea. Ready? Curtain.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Richard and Bob, will you turn off your cameras so that we can see Max and Carly the best?
Right.
Thank you.
Is it hot?
I don't want no ball.
Hot.
Oh, yes. Okay, I got the ball. Got the ball. Here I come.
Yeah. Okay, good. You must have hot tea for good tea. Hot, good.
Hot.
Hot, good. Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah.
Good.
Now take the tea in the cup. Take the tea in the cup. Here's the cup. Now pour the tea.
Oh! I got that.
No. Pour the tea. Pour, not drink. Pour. Give me the cup.
Follow.
Heighten the relationship.
Oh dear. Listen, you've gotten it on your shirt now. Here, let me help. Oh, does it? Oh, yes. Have a seat. Have a seat. Oh, burn your mouth. Your mouth. Take some water.
Follow the follower.
Drink it. They said you were smart. They said you were smart. Are you smart? Mouth feel better now. Feel better now. Yes. Yes. No. Nice. Now, try these little sandwiches.
Explore the relationship.
Try the little sandwiches. Very good.
Heighten that.
Very good. It's watercress.
Explore the relationship.
It's delicious.
Heighten the relationship.
All of the best people eat watercress.
Share it.
One bite at a time. We'll work on that later. Yes, have another one.
Share it this way.
Try to bite out, and then save half. Yeah.
Half a minute.
Well, okay. And now, remember your napkin. Wipe your mouth. Lovely. That was just lovely. I'm so proud of you. Oh, yes.
Okay, curtain, end. All right, please type into the chat your sentence, and we'll then read the haiku that emerged from this scene. Okay? First line is afternoon tea. Okay, so the first one we've got is afternoon tea. Hot water burns in all cultures. So your second line is hot water burns, and the third line is in all cultures.
Nice.
Okay. The next one is afternoon tea, cultural confusion, communication. Afternoon tea, sandwiches with watercress. Why is this in here? Okay. Afternoon tea. A mother patiently teaches a confused child. Very nice. Afternoon tea. Tea leaves. Reading. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you very much. This is what we have explored as a way of reaching not just into Zoom to create a setting and relationships, et cetera, but to reach out of Zoom to our audience, to join in with us, to create something besides just a piece of theater. Because Viola is
Bob, will
always-
you turn on your camera
oh,
so we
sorry.
can see you while you're talking?
Oh, what a wonderful idea, huh?
Yay.
If I can do that, I'm trying. There we go. Viola always says that we are not doing theater. This is not theater that we're doing. We are using theater to reach into our intuition. And this is one of those examples. It's the ability to reach that part of us that can observe and write as well as perform. So thank you very much. Those are some great pieces. Happy.
That was great.
Okay,
It was terrific.
next.
Next we have stage picture.
All right. Now we have this is a traditional game that is as much a director's game as it is an actor's game. Because once you have played this game, it becomes very clear that the stage picture is the responsibility of everyone to be seen. And the actors are to, when done live, the actors move around in a confined space. And when the phrase stage picture is called, some part of their body must be on view in that cluster of people that we see on stage playing the game. So that then in rehearsal later on, if somebody calls stage picture, that means somebody can't be seen. That means everybody is responsible for seeing that that person is seen. So here's a game that we've been playing with in which we try to create a stage picture with Zoom. The rule here is some part of the actor exploring their space. And once again, we're talking about using the whole space that the person is in. But at the moment the stage picture is called, they must get some part of their body into the frame of Zoom. And that's Zoom stage picture. So here we go, them exploring the space around their space.
Bob and Richard, do you want to
Rick-
turn off your cameras?
Rick, would you please turn your camera off? Thank you.
And Bob, do you want to be on screen?
I tried to turn off, it didn't work. Okay, here we go. All right, thank you. Moving through the space in all directions, up, down, high and low. Not necessarily where we can be seen, where they, stage picture. Okay, move. Take a chance. Explore. Stage picture. Okay, move. Stage picture. All right, now everyone move in relationship to Carrie. Carrie can move anywhere he wants, and you move in relationship to Carrie. And when I call stage picture, you must make him the focus of the picture. Stage picture. Okay, everybody move around in relationship to Max. Stage picture. All right, everyone move around in relationship to Ray. Stage picture. Everyone move around Max in relationship to Max. Take a chance. Stage picture. Audience, type into chat where these people might be Type in who they might be. Airport baggage claim. Pay attention to each other and see if you can start that off. Follow the follower. Baggage claim. Okay, everybody follow Heidi and move in relationship to Heidi. Okay, just begin exploring. Let the baggage claim go. Baggage claim go, gone. You're just moving around. Exploring the space. In relationship to Heidi. Stage picture. All right, explore that as if you are in the same space. Find out where you are. Take your time. Follow the follower. Let the relationship emerge. Okay, hold that position and begin exploration out of that position. Go. Hold that picture. Hold that picture. Audience, who are they? Put something in there. Who are these people in relationship to one another? Oh, there's a good one. New parents. Follow the follower with each other. Part of a whole. Part of a whole. Commit.
Oh. Here. Here, let me get that for you.
Thanks.
Oh.
Didn't like that.
Okay, curtain. All right. That is our stage picture version with about every angle you can take on it. We hope you enjoyed it.
So that's it.
Right.
So, yes. Now, another game that you may have played if you're familiar with Spolin. It's called What's Beyond. Excuse me while I turn on my camera before somebody tells me to. They always
Somebody.
I get it.
Bob, turn on your camera.
Yeah, too late. I got it done. Okay. All right. So once again, all of these versions of games that try to place everyone in the same place at the same time. Now, we've got a game that is an update of a game that you may have played. There's a game called How Old Am I? Or What Occupation Am I? Where it takes place at a bus stop. There's one, The Object Moving People. This game is related to that, as well as a game called, that we mentioned earlier on a smaller scale, What's Beyond. Here we have what's beyond on a larger scale. And the game is called something that I'm sure almost everyone out there has done. It's called Uber, what's beyond. So that means one actor is going to be in an Uber when we start. Now, what somebody has to do, just send it to me, send it to, send it to me, and I will forward it to the actor. Who wants to do Uber? Here, Uber, what's beyond? Okay, Carrie is doing Uber, what's beyond. All right, so everybody else is getting themselves off screen. What you're going to send to me is something that has just happened to Carrie before he got into the Uber. Okay? Something that has happened to Carrie just before he got into the Uber. So please just send to me, Robert Moyer. You can't send only to me? All right. Okay. Oh, the audience can't send private messages in a webinar. Then, in that case, I'm going to Carrie, well, the audience doesn't want to know either. So, okay. I will type to Carrie what he was doing. All right. Of course, if you're asking me to do this, we're taking time up, aren't we? All right, Carrie. Sorry. Okay. I've sent to Carrie. So Carrie, get a little bit further back from the camera. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Let us see more of you. So if you can put the camera down a little further so we can see more of you. Thank you. Okay. Carrie is now, when the curtain begins, he's in an Uber riding, and he can decide where he is riding to.
Camera off.
God bless America. Curtain when you're ready, Carrie. Look around the car. Take a deep breath.
Scene.
Focus on what's just happened. Take your time, put your focus there. Feel the movement of the car. Allow the things to pass you by. See without looking. Heighten what just happened to you from head to toe, in your shoulders, in your arms. Allow the movement to happen. Feel the movement of the vehicle under you, around you. See where you're going. Heighten that 1 minute. All right, curtain, end. Type into the chat what happened to Carrie just before he got into the Uber. Ah. His spouse broke up with him. He was fired. He was just dumped by a lover. Okay, anybody else? Camera? What does camera mean?
That was me telling you to turn on your camera.
Camera. Turn on my camera. Okay, thank you. I'm unimportant. He got fired. Anybody else? Oh, wait. We got two. We got two. He got fired. He was just dumped by a lover. He was dumped by a spouse. Escaped death in a car accident. Well, that's the closest. Okay, where were you just coming from, Carrie?
I had just, let me use your words, just graduated with a law degree.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, does anybody have any idea? Because even I don't know. Where was Carrie headed? To an ambulance? To his first job interview? Army recruiting, airport. Where were you headed, Carrie?
I was just gonna go break up. No, I was heading to the celebratory party.
Okay, headed to the party. All right. So that's Uber. Uber, what's beyond? One of the reasons that game was developed was to do the most difficult thing of all, which is to restrict the movement of the person so that they must inhabit the thing that just happened and focus on that. So there's no opportunity in this setting of Uber. There's nothing going on. You cannot get away with telling. It requires that you use your whole self to show and make it interesting, little things that happen that make it interesting inside that. Yes, Max.
We're at the end here, so thank you all for coming. We'd like to introduce ourselves. Can we go one at a time to say our name? Let's start with Carrie.
I am Carrie Goldenberg. I am coming from Chicago.
I'm Heidi McIver. I'm living in North Carolina.
I'm
Ray
Carly
Verzell.
Murdoch. I'm Carly Murdoch, and I'm in Florida.
Ray Verzell in New Orleans.
Rick Rupert in Houston, Texas.
Max Schaefer from Los Angeles, California.
And once again, I'm Bob Moyer from North Carolina as well.
Great.
And we're putting some information into the chat, one of which at the very top includes the next show that we are encouraging you to see, which is Max Schaefer's show, happening starting at 10:15. So there is a link there to both the Zoom meeting and to the Facebook event if you are a Facebooker. And then we've got some Spolin resources. So we highly encourage you to go and play with the granddaughter of Viola Spolin, the daughter of Paul Sills, Aretha Sills, who is, as Bob likes to say, channeling her progenitors in doing this work, and it's really fun. You can also check out the World Spolin Network on Facebook, the Musical Improv Network on Facebook. All that information is in the chat. And Max and Bob are going on a European world tour coming up here pretty soon. So we've got a lot going on, and we would love to have you join us. We also want to make sure to thank the Vintage Improv Festival and the staff thereof who have made this possible and allowed us to play this way.
So we get to hang out, don't we? If people have
Yep. If
questions.
anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to stick around for a bit, and we'll do our best to answer them.
And we hope you steal these games and develop them on your own. And if you come up with something that works a lot better than what we've done, let us know, would you?
Let's have a virtual applause for the shows to say, we can't see you, but we'll pretend that you're clapping for us.
Max, there's a question for you.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Singing and dancing and fun and bad jokes for this show, which is scenario based, so half improvisation, half scenario.
Code.
Ellen.
Oh yeah, we held some workshops this week as part of the Vintage Improv Festival. So thank you to all of those of you who attended those and played with us for those. Max, I believe you still have a couple of workshops coming up. Is that accurate?
Oh, that's right. On Sunday, we're doing, I think, at 4, well, I'm not sure, 8, maybe 8. You'll have to check, but I'm doing improvisation games for music improvisation games where we're adapting Spolin games slightly to include music. So these are brand new games, very exciting, very fun, that take musical improv to a new direction. So you're going to see some new and interesting things. So you might want to.
And those are on Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern time and at 6 o'clock Eastern time. He'll be holding those. And I'll put the link to that in the chat as well.
Okay, I've got a great idea.
Should we say a few words about how we all came together this last 2 years with COVID?
Yeah, good. Well, you haven't talked much, Ray. Would you kind of lead us off on that?
Yeah, when COVID first struck and everything shut down, as opposed to now where everything is open, we decided to have a little reunion on Zoom, since that was the going thing, and it still is, seems like. And we started meeting on Tuesday evenings, and it began to stay. We kept coming back for more every week and trying our best to make this medium of Zoom work in the context of theater games, the Spolin theater games. And so we've been it's been an experiment, really, for the past year and a half of working together, trying to figure out how we do this and get into the same space, like Bob says, on a computer and with monitors and screens and things of that nature. So it's been a real work of love and a steep learning curve when it comes to working with these interesting objects that do things for us.
We've got a question here. Is there conflict or tension among the proponents of the Spolin approach?
No.
There's no conflict with us.
We have no conflict.
I'm wondering if it's in terms of the games. Do the games have elements of players having conflict or tension among them? That's what I'm inferring from that. That because there's a lot of yes and in other forms of theater, and do we allow for that kind of conflict and tension in Spolin work, right? or among different teachers?
Like,
Well,
are there different schools like Stanislavski split off into the various, Strasbourg and all those
there's there's so many different aspects of improvisation, so Viola isn't the only, let's put it this way, Viola was not the only way to approach improv. Viola was the first way to approach improv, and everything else descended from her. And there are, I can't remember the publication, but there's a book that traces, all of the early stages of improvisation back to Viola and Paul, actually, because Paul is, as Viola says, her gift to the world. Because Paul, every theater game, all 224 of them, was created to make a play work, a script work. It was Paul who recognized that these were valuable in and within themselves for performance. And that's why she calls him her gift to the world. Now, there are so many different variations that you can find conflict, but this is one of the reasons that we encourage you to go to Aretha Sills, because she embodies, as I said frequently, she channels both Paul and Viola. Paul was an excellent and wonderful director. Viola was a caring and nurturing teacher. And Aretha brings those two together. Paul and Viola work together frequently.
I wanted to add too, the approach that Spolin uses, one of the hallmarks of it is the idea of getting rid of the authoritarian kind of controlling nature that you see a lot in, and that can be kind of in some way crippling because you don't want to go doing things just to please the teacher. And the wonderful thing about this group, this United Stage group that's been meeting over way over a year, is that we have no leaders in this group. There's no one who's been in charge of this who says, okay, you're going to do this game, you're going to play that. And when we come to meet every week, we have no idea what we're going to do. But it's wonderful because we all feel empowered. And that allows us to create, that's why we'll be able to create so many wonderful, unique games, is because we're not trying to please one person. So,
Yeah, and many of us are teachers or workshop leaders, and so we will kind of work up a game in the group and then go and try it out with students or people who are less practiced in the medium, and find out, how well it works, and then kind of report back. So we're always sort of continually finessing the games that we're playing. Yeah, so we're all showing you our books. So Improvisation for the Theater 3rd edition is one main tome that helps us a lot with games. And then we've also got some of these folks have the very, very earliest editions of these books. Theater Games for the Lone Actor is a really fantastic text for somebody who is working on their own. And then we also have a couple of, we've got the Neva Boyd book, Handbook of Recreational Games, which is where we get a lot of our warm-up kind of children's game style games that Viola then went to adapt. And then there's also the Theater Games for the Classroom, which has a great format for teachers, and especially great for working with kids. In fact, Max, your kids are in this book, aren't they?
yeah, my students. And also I've created a CD that's based on that book that has video example. So,
Yeah.
Hey, Jack, Griffin Jack asked, what are your thoughts on Carrie Schwartz? Well, that's very easy. Gary Schwartz was a great student of Viola's. He was very close to her. And frankly, there are very few people who are better players than Gary Schwartz. He understands the games in ways that very few of us do. And he's one of the few people still alive, including me, who work in Viola.
I do not know about Gary Schwartz. And he worked for a while with the United States.
He did. He spent 2 months before he had to get back to LA. It was just too much. He came to Michigan where we were headquartered. The United States was created to be a professional company that trained students at Thomas Jefferson College. And that was before we started touring all over the country. And we had performed in LA and New Orleans, New York, Long Island.
We also worked with him in California. We did a show with him under Viola's direction.
Yeah.
Is that right, Bob?
Yep, indeed.
And we have we put together an interview with these folks. So I'm not actually a part of the original United Stage. I come to this work through Bob because I attended the University of North Carolina School of the Arts when he was the director of the high school drama program there, which he founded. And so I've been his mentee these many years and have used this in both my professional acting work and in my pedagogical approach as I teach children. So I acted as kind of a moderator, and we have a video of an interview with all these folks about the United Stage. So if you go on Facebook and join the World Spolin Network, we are going to be posting that there. And you can also email Max. Like I said, his email address is in there. So if you don't do Facebook, then he can get you that link as well.
Great.
Yeah, we've been together, I just want to say, about 40 years. We started, and then we all went in different directions, and we came back together a year and a half ago because of COVID.
It's more like 50.
Yeah, Carly,
Come on.
You're about 10 years off.
you're dreaming, Carly. You're dreaming. 50.
It's all a blur.
Time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
And
It
Carrie
does.
was a member of the Second City in Chicago group for quite a while. Do you want to add, Carrie?
Yeah, I wanted to add something about what we've been saying based on the question about somebody said how we work well together, and then is there any differences in the teaching? When I was teaching at Second City, there were people who were much more open to this. And it really resonated with them. And then there were people who like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't care. I want to do what I want to do. And it was frustrating, but it was also revealing. And the people who really glommed onto it and really gathered momentum from it, it was real rewarding to watch them. No names, but there are some very, very friendly, funny people who really embodied this Spolin work. And I want to thank Bob for letting me. It was a blessing. I started in '75 at Grand Valley, which is where Thomas Jefferson was. I wanted to throw that in there. Grand Valley College is now Grand Valley University. So again, this is so much fun to laugh, to be with these people. And we want to thank the people who are watching. There's still 20 of you or whatever. But thank you. This is it's a pleasure to do, and it's a pleasure to share.
I want to say, we're in the middle of performance, and I'm sure you saw us breaking up at the other players, right? Well, this is the nature. This is the nature of the group. It's a safe place. It's a safe place to be, and that's one of the important parts of all this work. You have to feel safe to do it, and you have to enjoy it, and you can't be judgmental in this situation, even in performance. You cannot be judgmental, and that's what these people. That's their métier. So that's all I have to say about that.
And this came from a conversation. Max was finishing his career as a kindergarten teacher, and where I work, it had just been, okay, I got to use Zoom to communicate. And I was like, hey, I bet you Max would like some ideas for his games with his kindergarten kids. And at the end of the conversation, it's like, we got to get the United Stage people together. And it was like, whoa. And yeah, that was in June of 20. And we are so blessed to be able to keep doing this. Heidi is just such a wonderful addition. And we've even invited people who were part of it, and they've gone, nah, I don't think so. And I'll tell you, what they're missing, it's sad, but it's so much fun. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, audience.
Yes, thank you, audience.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Jack. I understand that, Griffin Jack. What a wonderful thing to say. Yes, we agree. We learn body, space, and object work from Spolian. That's our credo, and that's what we're trying to sell every time we talk to them.
Very well.
It was the one challenge of Zoom was to try to connect without actually being able to connect. We can't touch each other, and that never happened before.
Yeah.
To have an audience where we can't see, that never happened.
That drives us nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Virginie, thanks a lot. And if you have Max's address, if you feel comfortable in sending him your contact information, we'd be happy to stay in touch. Okay? Same with anyone. Same with anyone. If you want to stay in touch with us, don't hesitate to send it to Max. Yeah.
And we're open to coming into your living room and performing.
Which we can do now.
Yep.
Very easily. All right, well, we're going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Don't forget, Max has his show at 10:15 Eastern Time. And thank you again to the Vintage Improv Festival for running all this for us. Bye.
Bye.
We got this recorded, I hope.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's getting loaded up onto YouTube.
I got to head off. I'll see everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Max. I'll see you at your performance.